A team I wish was maybe a little more fleshed out was Colossus. They were the ultimate tank, except they never really felt that way. Though I don't want to see it go the Legends of Runeterra route where we have a bunch of filler characters instead of actual champions for the game. So I played a lot of Set 7 Dragonlands, and all I gotta say is wowzers. So in the last set I mentioned the Colossus class felt like it wasn't fully realized or utilized. So Riot furthered that concept of a giant 2-slot unit into the Dragon class. My thoughts are split with this. The good side of it is I'm happy they didn't abandon this idea and expanded further to make a more meaningful unit both in damage and defense. It was nice to see a central focus instead of a side option you can include if you wanted to. The dragons having multiple traits and a chosen trait is a good tie-in to other comps. I played around a little bit with that while playing Brawler or Whisper, but they still took up 2 slots, limiting the amount of experimenting you really could do. There's an augment allowing you to have more than one dragon without losing the dragon trait, which was nice for making gimmick teams, but that didn't feel like a good use of an augment in general. I don't hate the dragon gimmick by any means. I think it was an interesting take from the Colossus, but I wasn't blown away really. The other half of this all was I didn't want to see random units thrown into TFT just for filling slots to a certain team. But I feel as though there is some middle ground, obviously. The middle ground being Silco from last set. He's a character that was made specifically for the Arcane TV show, but was utilized in TFT. He fit the theme, and he was an exclusive for that particular set. Why wouldn't they just do something like that in this set? Make an original dragon specifically for Dragonlands and the mid set. Then it feels far more like you had a plan from the get-go. It feels like Riot got halfway into development of Dragonlands, then realized they didn't have enough dragons. They reskinned or recolored versions of Galio, Aurelian Sol, and Shyvana, and honestly, it feels lazy. To this very moment, I consistently forget which one is which and who has which trait, and I can hardly tell them apart at a glance based on their shop portrait. And what even are these names? I know not all League names are easy to understand, but my brother in Christ, this is gibberish. And these are my Pokemon names. I understand why things are the way they are. There are not enough dragons or dragony champs / skins in League of Legends to make an entire TFT set full. So why do it then? If you were aware from the beginning that you didn't have the supplies, then why force it? Even if they didn't want to make an original champ because it's too much time or money, even if they never made the rehashed great value dragons that they did, then why not just put the focus on the actual dragon characters you have and people love? Instead of making these more expensive dragons to fill in a role, I think it would have just been better to take the ones that already exist and make them super strong. Take Shyvana, Aurelian Sol, a skin of Galio, and make them the only 10 cost champs, thus creating only 3 factions, giving more meaning to them as a team that requires its dragon for full power. Or even if you needed to fill some more slots, use the existing mechanic you had with Lux in set 2, where it's the same dragon but different traits as you roll until you buy the one that you want and has the trait that you want, and it's only that trait in the shop from there on. I feel as though there were so many other options to go about it than what happened, and it's a little disappointing. Fortunately, the greater majority of the set was not this bad. I actually enjoyed the better part of the teams. I played a lot of set 7, and for the first time since set 2, I attempted rank again. Mages and warriors were my go-to comps, mainly because they were open enough to mix and match different synergies, plus you could feel the power scale creep throughout the game. Jade was a team I really wanted to work for me, but I just couldn't get it right, which skill issue, I know. But my buddy Skia did get his first Mr. 100 game with them, so big congrats to him. I feel like there was a lot of nothing comps that I used once myself and never really came back to. Guild, Shimmer Scale, or Dragonmancers were interesting but kinda meh. Dragonmancer and Shimmer Scale both used this gain an item gimmick, which was neat but didn't feel very impactful, especially Shimmer Scale. Maybe I didn't use them right, but there never felt like a good unit to use the given items on instead of their carry items. Guild I did like to use to fill synergy gaps, but not as a whole comp by themselves. Legends was I think one of the most unique teams, sacrificing a champ next to Legend enhanced their stats, becoming the ultimate tank, team shredder, or damage dealer. But by the end, the comp I had most fun with was Whisper. More specifically, Elise. Her zipping up and out of battle, then coming down on a low health enemy, one-shotting, then doing it all again was very entertaining to watch. There were a couple of fun individual units to use this set. Nico was probably the best tank in the game for me, because building her right would make even a 1-star put in some amazing work with her ult alone. Rai's just lasering people if you allowed him to live longer than a few seconds, Yasuo executing the last champ alive as kind of a callback to Teemo in set 5. There was one highlighted champ that let me down. Alawi. Man, Alawi. I was disappointed. This guy was disappointed.
And my day is ruined.
I mentioned in my previous video how cool Alawi looks, smashing the entire board, and that is no more. Now, I understand why they made the change, bringing her from a 5 cost down to a 3 cost, because the team she was involved with, Astral, didn't function well with a 5 cost. It was a hyper roll comp where every 5th reroll you got an enhanced shop, giving you more likely odds of finding Astral champs. But I don't think Riot needed to completely abandon the fantasy they showed off. I feel like even toning her down to a 4 cost with less damage or higher mana requirement would have been good enough to keep the team viable, since you already have the enhanced shop to find her, and also keeping her original direction. Instead, now there's a bunch of lower cost champs and a dragon that is pretty much the only unit that matters or does any damage. Another disappointment, unfortunately. Let's go, let's move. Side to side, let's go. Okay, to be fair, competing with this was going to be a hard one for me. In fact, so hard that Riot didn't even try. I did not like any part of the Little Legends from this set. I looked at them once and what an ugly bunch. It could be a couple factors that made it this way, the first and foremost being that they already did a Dragon Little Legends, and they nailed it. The set 4 dragons are perfect examples of cute yet edgy. They meshed well together with their little band of guitars and drums, and they're just absolutely adorable. Chonk, being practically the mascot at this point, did get another variation from this set, and I think it's great as well. But more Pixie Matter, please. Riot added 2 new Chibi legends, that being Yasuo and Dragonmancer Yasuo. And by golly, Firecracker Jinx really got this short end of the stick. Dragonmancer Yasuo has this dope animation where when he wins a battle that kills a Little Legend, he really kills them, like actually for real. I think it's a little messed up to put out 2 ultra rare Chibi legends, the first being just a reskin of the normal legend, then the very next one getting special animations and a true reason to buy an ungodly amount of loot balls. I love Jinx, but this was not enough to coax me into playing the lottery, but if she had a special kill animation, then you know I would have been on that. I know this sounds like I'm criticizing them for adding this, and I'm truly not. I would love to see every Chibi legend after this, at least the super rare loot box ones, get animations like this or specialties like this. I think it's amazing. I just think it's a little rough that Jinx got passed over so hard. At the recording of this video, we are very close to the mid-set swap, and 7.5 Uncharted Realms looks really promising. Riot already took a progressive step forward by actually adding new original dragon units. They look really cool, honestly, but I'm gonna reserve my excitement until I can hop on PvE to try them out. I know I normally have a lot more to say about mid-set because I have historically waited until the end of 0.0 and 0.5 to make a review, but it felt like there was a lot to talk about in this set alone. Now that I've aired out my thoughts with the dragons, my hope is to further the conversation with how Riot enhanced or worsened the idea. At the end of the day, set 7.0 Dragonlands was a C tier personally. I liked what they were trying to do, but I feel like a lot fell short and expectations just were not met. The other comps really kept it alive for me alongside Hyper Roll and Double Up, so here's to hoping 7.5 goes better. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I cover set 1.0 to 5.5 and 6.0 to 6.5, so please go check those out and let me know what you think of this video and the ones before.